Welcome back in. Instagram will force millions of teens into protected accounts. Meta announced last week its most restrictive effort yet to protect young users from the potential dangers on its platforms.
And pressure on Meta to do more for teens have ramped up after recent lawsuits against the company allege that Zuckerberg repeatedly thwarted teen well-being initiatives, that Meta knowingly refused to shut down accounts belonging to kids under 13, and that the company has enabled child predators, not to mention the congressional hearing regarding the heightened mental health risks associated with teens and social media usage. So here are some of the changes. Accounts for people under 18 will be set to private, and they'll only be able to get messages from people they are connected to. Instagram will limit who can tag teens in photos or mention them in comments, and Insta will also restrict some sensitive content teens can see on their Explore page and Reels, like posts promoting cosmetic procedures. Teens will also get time limit reminders, nudging them to get off after spending 1 hour on the app each day. Between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., the app will default to sleep mode, muting notifications and sending auto replies and DMs.
It is a lot to digest, and of course we always have the question of how we can protect our children. And to help kind of guide us parents and grandparents regarding the new policy, we're joined now by a social media expert and podcaster, TikToker. She does it all, Kaya Olson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm curious just to ask you, what do you think about, we just read a lot, right? A lot of restrictions, but what's your takeaway from them?
My biggest takeaway is this is something that's been a long time coming.
Yes.
As we all know, social media can have extreme effects on everyone's mental health, young teens included. In my opinion, it might be a little too late. But I do see the benefit, especially for those younger kids, specifically under 15, I would say. I can see that that would be very helpful.
I'm really happy to hear somebody that clearly is engrossed in social media also be able to speak about some of the effects, because I know we both have 2 children. I hope by the time our children are older, honestly, and I know this might sound extreme, but I don't want them on social media. I know
away with it.
You know, it's
seriously.
True. So what about this sleep mode? I really like this. I agree with you that it should have been done, yesterday, a long time ago. But do you think this sleep mode, is there any way that some of these teens can get around it?
I do think there's a way for the teens to get around it. I mean, teens have always been very smart in ways to get around different loopholes. I do think it is a good feature. I agree. The 10 to 7 time frame is very beneficial, especially for sleep, and those kids that have to get up early in the morning to go to school. I think that's very helpful. I do know that on the back end, Meta isn't necessarily focusing on whether or not it is a parent that's helping regulate those things. It's just anyone over the age of 18.
Oh.
So I'm not sure where the rules will fall in terms of how strict it actually will be.
When it comes to like parent supervision, I want to ask you, as a younger person, that sounds great to me. But when you can monitor like what your kids are watching, it's a fine line between being over-invasive and not giving your kids a certain level of privacy. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, so I joined social media when I was 13 with Facebook. So granted, that was a completely different time for social media. I do think that now being fully engrossed in social media from when you wake up to when you go to bed, obviously that makes a difference. But I do think that the parent involvement is important. My mom was always really involved in my social media presence growing up, and now that I'm older, I look back on it and I'm very grateful for her for doing that. But I do think that there's a delicate balance within being too controlling versus letting someone be creative or seeing new things that they wouldn't usually experience or see in their hometown, per se.
I think a balance is key, but what about, in this day and age, in a gig economy, sometimes, parents aren't able to monitor their social media 24/7. I mean, ideally, yes. But in that sense, I mean, do you believe in somebody saying to their child, you're not allowed to be on social media until this age?
I believe now it would be a lot harder to facilitate those rules within a household. Growing up, obviously, when I was a kid, it was a little bit easier. But now, whether or not they are on social media, they will be exposed to it because even their friends might be on social media and they can just show them something in class or when they're hanging out and things like that. Yeah.
You don't want the resentment either to say, no, you can't do it, and then they're going to do it behind your back, and that just feels...
Balance. Balance is always key. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Kaya.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. Good information.